validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Very awesome Sunday today. Actually, we kind of sort of got it off the ground at about the right time. Technically, we're supposed to start about 37 minutes ago, but we are live 7 nights a week, and we don't let the sun rise without going live. So you will definitely see us at some point every night of the week. Now, tonight, Sunday night, is our members only show that's open to the public right now, where we are doing reactions and responses from the fans. So we have a culmination of responses that I have come across this week, and we're going to be going over them, listening to them, and we're going to be reacting and responding to some of these statements that are being made by the fans. And you guys on Twitch, Twitter, as well as the rest of you that are following us on YouTube, will be able to comment on these situations live and in real time. And you might be able to see your comments, as long as they're appropriate, come up on the screen right here. So if in the event that you guys want to come onto the show and say what you want to say what you want to say, not just type it, say what you want to say, you guys can click those links that you see in your comment sections. One's there for Twitch, there's another one there for YouTube, and another one here for Twitter. And if you click those links, approve the mic, approve the camera, it brings you into the green room in real time. I'd be able to put you up onto the show. Just got to make sure you're over the age of 18. Now, I know that for the most part, everybody over on Twitter X side are adults, because that's more news, media, sports, stuff to that effect. But for the rest of you that are on Twitch and YouTube that are less likely to be of age, we just hope that you guys that do dive onto the show are grown. Keep your comments appropriate, keep your appearance appropriate, and let's have fun with this. Remember, since we are 7 nights a week, we're going to have a show tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how the political climate changing is impacting our finances and our ability to invest in things, the same way we talked about last week. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be talking about ways to move our money around in the cash dividend stocks that we were talking about over the past few months, so that you guys can think about different types of strategies on how to take the money that you're getting from one location and putting it into another location. So instead of the old saying of robbing Peter to pay Paul, you're borrowing money from Peter to invest in Paul and taking the dividends from Paul, paying back Peter and keeping the difference, which keeps you in a situation where you are financially successful, which is what we want to do. We want to keep you guys in a financially successful situation. Now, there's going to be a lot of questions tomorrow about investment opportunities. We go over just about everything on this and that. We talk about this, that, and everything in between. So there will be situations where we will talk about the stocks and investment options of the day. And then there's also situations where people will bring up left field topics like Bayside loves to, and I really enjoy it when he does this. He comes across the table with stuff that we weren't even planning on. And then we start like Netflix, investing in Netflix at $1,100 a share and other such things. We get to explore other avenues. So, special shout out to quite a few individuals. Some of y'all will see all names going across the top of the screen. Let's go ahead and get this started. Praying that StreamYard is going to cooperate with us today. So let's see what we've got going on as far as that's concerned.
Unpopular advice. If you hooked up with anyone while dating and you decide to become official, you should disclose that you hooked up. Okay, so let's say you date person A, but hooked up with others, whether they are one or another people you're dating. Let's say you decided to be official with person A. In my opinion, you should say you hooked up with others. Why? Well, it can save both of you a lot of time. If person A doesn't care, you can just move on. No problems. If person A does care, then you can discuss if it's a deal breaker. Better to find out now, as opposed to having them somehow find out later. Because if they do care and decide to break up, you both just wasted your time. It always feels like people who hook up with others while dating don't want to discuss this. And I get why, but isn't better to make sure this isn't a deal breaker early on?
Okay, so I know y'all heard that. So question is, should we disclose that we are sexually active while we are exploring the opportunity for a committed relationship with somebody new? I know a lot of people are waiting on my response on this, but the first problem that I have with this is it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, because remember that my advice is going to be, this is a male driven podcast from a male's perspective, but I also come from uniformity. There are guys that like to play the field. There are girls that like to play the field. There are people who like to maintain a healthy level or above healthy level of sexual activity as they explore the dating realm. And then when they find themselves deciding to be emotionally committed to a specific individual, that's when those people decide to stop being whores and start being monogamous with the one individual that they're committed to. In the Western culture, we skip the friend phase. You'll notice in Eastern cultures that the first, 5 months or whatever, that you guys are like dating in groups. So a handful of girls, a handful of guys, they all go out together. And then over time, some people start liking other people. Then they start pairing off. And that's when you start going individually, where it's just couples, 2 people at a time. Now, once you get to that point where it's just the 2 of you, that's the exclusivity. That's when it's supposed to happen. So if you were whores, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you were whores when everybody was going out in groups, if somebody decided to take you out on a one-on-one and that might lead to an exclusive relationship, you were supposed to stop being whores, since no one has the mentality of no sex before marriage anymore, and nobody's has the mentality of at least no sex before moving in with one another, or give it a year. Something. Make sure that you know what you're doing. Like, commit to a lifelong engagement before sleeping with the other person. And since that mentality is not there, because sex is now part of entertainment, as opposed to procreation, and building legacies and lineages, the fact is that most people are going to be sexually active. The more attractive they are, the more active they're capable of being. Now, outside of past traumas, childhood traumas that may prevent individuals, or the rare occasion for the household upbringing, like Usman's got a very good upbringing where he saved themselves until marriage. Outside of those scenarios, the average person is out there throwing it back as young as 15, 16 years old. And the young men are trying to sleep with as many women as they can until they're 30 something, and then they start getting their finances together. The women are sleeping with as many men as they can, and women as they can, until they're 30 something, and then they decide to start settling down. But while people do end up finding somebody along the way, when do you stop whoring around? That's the question. Because do you tell somebody that you're whoring around, or do you just stop whoring around? That's the question I believe that should be asked. So I agree that you should have that as an open discussion at the beginning of your relationship. But a lot of people, more often than not, women, are not going to be comfortable with having a conversation with a man about her being sexually active outside of a committed relationship, because the value of a woman is based on the false perception that even though she's not, that she's supposed to be the Virgin Mary. She is supposed to be the purest thing on the face of this earth, even if she has beat Little Kim's track record in the Guinness Book of Records. The fact is that while an OnlyFans girl can still pretend like she's not an OnlyFans girl, that does not change the fact that if the guy does not know her from OnlyFans, in his mind, he can perceive that there is purity there, even when there's clearly not. So once you start having this conversation, there's two conversations that will start here. The first conversation is going to be the fact that she is sexually active. Then the body count conversation is going to come up. And once the body count conversation comes up, if she's not willing to disclose the body count, and the body count is not a low number, like single digit number, then it's going to be a turnoff for the guy, because he's going to assume outrageous numbers. Which is going to bring down the value of the woman, and that is going to be a deal breaker for her. So women are not, the same way women are not okay with telling their age, they're not going to be okay with talking about being sexually active, and are not going to be okay with talking about their body counts, because it is a deal breaker for guys. Now, guys are less likely to be rejected by girls when the guy's body count is high and when the guy is sexually active. But if the guy is willing to vow that since she is interested in dating him, that he will be exclusive to her, less women care about whether or not a man was recently sexually active. But most men will have an issue with knowing that you slept with somebody last week, and you and I have been communicating with each other via phone call, text message, emails, whatever, over the past 3 weeks. Does that make sense? So while we're not official yet, and women are going to say that's an insecurity in men, and I understand that, the reverse concept of that is that the women are going to be in a position where they're going to feel insecure if they are not giving the man everything that he needs, and they believe that he is starting to look for something else or something better out in the field while they're dating. The lack of trust that she will have in the man doesn't necessarily have to come from the man's behavior in the relationship. It could come from the guilt of her sleeping around before they started getting serious, and then at some point guilt makes them have to say something. If you're a whore, it's gonna ruin your relationship as your relationship starts, man or woman. So it is in your best interest to either stop and not say anything, or say something and stop, recognizing that the person you're talking to right now is going to leave. And then the next person that you start talking to is the person that you're going to be trying to engage with. But just understand that the average person is not out there doing back shots every week. The outside of committed relationships, most of us really only go out a few times a month. So we don't really have that many one night stands in a lifetime. The more attractive individuals have more one night stands than the less attractive individuals, but it's not like an everyday thing. It might be a once a week on a weekend kind of thing. It might be twice a month kind of thing. It might be once every 6 months kind of thing. So just because you're sexually active, that's not a conversation that you need to have unless you started communicating with this person and decided to sleep with somebody else while you're communicating with this person. Now that is something that you guys should talk about. It's like, yeah, I know you and I were kind of feeling each other out, but I got felt up by this other person the other day. Now, ladies, I want to ask y'all, how would y'all feel about this dynamic? Because, I already know that most men are going to say, nah, that's a deal breaker. Some guys are going to say she's for the streets and they don't have a problem with sleeping with her and moving on. But we're talking about committed relationships. We're not talking about smash and grabs. We're not talking about hit and runs. We're talking about get it and keep it. We're talking about like Ash Ketchum. We're talking about like not letting this one go kind of thing. And the mentality of letting this one go, once you realize that she's for the streets, you're not going to pursue a committed relationship. You might still talk to this girl enough to sleep with her a few times. You might have a frequent fuck buddy with this person, but it's not a design that your mentality is, I'm going to commit to this one. She's going to be the mother of my children. We're going to get married kind of thing. That mentality is not going to be in the mindset of a person once that man finds out that she was sleeping with somebody yesterday when we've been talking on the phone for a couple weeks on the phone. We were where our first date might have happened already. It might be in between our first date and our fifth date, and she's still knocking boots with other people. And I understand, ladies, it's your body. You can do whatever you want to do with it. It's your life. But when you start talking about commitment with another person, it's their life too. So if you're willing to behave like this now, the mentality is, ladies, if this was a man doing this, wouldn't you be expecting him to do this for the rest of the relationship? If he out there just knocking off random chicks while he's presenting himself as committed to you or exclusive to you or giving you his undivided attention, the first couple of weeks y'all are dating, and then he just lets this out of the bag and tells you, hey, yeah, I've been, running through chicks this whole time. You're not going to have the confidence in that man that he's going to stop doing that, because if he didn't stop doing that before y'all started talking to one another, you're going to believe, you're always going to have it in the back of your mind that he's going to keep doing that. Then the other problem is that if it does happen during your relationship, guess what society is going to say about that? Well, if he was sleeping around when you met him, now he's sleeping around a year into your relationship. You knew what you was getting yourself into because that's how he behaved when you met him. And that goes both ways, because if a woman was doing that, fellas would tell another guy the same thing. It's like, bro, if she was out there throwing it back when you first met her, then you knew what you had when you got that one. So down the line, you can't be frustrated at her if she's still throwing it back at random people. a year, 2 years into the relationship, because that's the kind of person you selected. But a person with standards, a person with self-respect and self-dignity would not be doing that. I'm not saying that people not going to get laid every now and again, but the same way women expect men to be monks until the woman decides to give it up, and the same way women forget about sex when they're focused on their goals, you ain't got to be out there throwing it back like that on a regular basis. So once you decide I'm going on dates to find a long-term companion, that's when you decide I'm not sleeping with random folks. Now you don't have to have that conversation no more. So as soon as you connect with the next person, the last time you got laid would have been a few days or a week or two before you decided to start looking for that last person, that final commitment. So however many weeks or months it takes for you to find a person that I'm going to go on my first commitment driven date, that's how many weeks or months since the last time you got laid. When your mentality is, I am now on commitment driven dates, I am looking for the last one. And when you fix your mindset like that, you're not interested in all the ones that's looking for entertainment. Yeah, you could get laid, but that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a commitment, a long-term commitment driven date, and you're looking for a partner that's going to be that commitment. So that means that you're going to be preserving yourself for that commitment. So she does make a good point. Yeah, y'all should talk about that in the beginning, but that shouldn't even have to be a topic of discussion if you were commitment driven when you start going on these dates. Let's go ahead and touch base on the next one. Make sure
guys who consistently get lots of matches, what specific profile changes made the biggest difference? Hey everyone. I've been putting effort into my profile on apps like Tinder and Hinge, but I'm still not getting many matches. I know some of you have figured out how to really stand out, and I'd love to hear what actually worked for you. Specifically, what small photo or bio tweaks noticeably increased your match rate? Which types of photos, prompts, or bios got you more attention or better conversations? Do you regularly update or rotate your profile? If so, how often? Any less obvious tips that most guys overlook?
Okay, so we have never talked about this on a show before. We have talked about creating profiles. We have talked about the wrong thing to say, but we've never talked about on the show the right thing to say on a dating profile. First off, yes, you should have revolving photos. You should have updated photos, recent photos. So how often should you have your photos taken? You guys got cell phones. Most of y'all operating iPhones right now. I got an Android, it's, Samsung, but most of y'all operate off iPhones right now. Y'all can take damn good selfies. So since you take selfies on a regular basis, you should be able to update your profile at least once a season, but you should not allow any photo to be on your profile over a year old, because those photos look like a dummy account. You also want to make sure that you reasonably look like right now the photos that you are posting online. I know a lot of women put the best photos of themselves on social media, but then when you go to talk to them, that's not the way they look today. And that makes men feel like they're being catfished. If you had your hair did and you looked all pretty and stuff like that for that photo, then when I look at you, you look like you just got out of a fight with a barbecue grill. Like, that's not okay. Like, we need to understand, like, the way you look in this photo should be the way you look. And the best way for you to handle that is, instead of overdoing it with your attire, fellas, the way you dress on a regular basis, that should be in your damn photo. Not it. I'm a suit and tie kind of guy. So 99% of the time, you're going to see me with a dress shirt, a tie on. You're going to see me with a suit, a blazer, something like that on. So all of my photos should have something close to that in there. If I've got other attire that I wear, turtlenecks or something like that, then that should be in a photo. But what most people put into their profiles, like the ladies are always going to have a bikini photo in there somewhere. They want to show off the most body that they can show off without being blocked from the profile. So they're always going to have some type of lingerie photo in there. And I think, ladies, y'all should stop doing that. Y'all should stop showing all that extra skin. Y'all should not have to show nothing above the knee, nothing above the elbow, and nothing below the neck. If the man wants you for who you are, he wants you for who you are. If you've got to damn near be taking photos of yourself in your underwear, advertising the ability to get laid, you're going to, on social media, attract more men that want to sleep with you and less men that want to wife you. So if you take down those bathing suit photos, if you're gonna have a skirt, try to keep it closer to your knees. If you're gonna have a blouse or a shirt or something like that on there, like if you really wanna put on some go look at Saved by the Bell. Go look at the Cosby. Go look now. Take it back to when modesty was a thing, and take photos in outfits that is not showing all of the areas that are supposed to remain private. Now, fellas, back to y'all, because this is for both of y'all. This ain't just for the men, but this is a male-driven podcast. So, fellas, if all you got is throwback jerseys and jeans and Jordans, bro, put your fit on, bro, with your fitted cap on and your gold chains and everything like that. If that's how you look on a regular basis, then put that in your profile. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people who have tattoos make it a point to take photos showing that they have tattoos. I don't understand like the unwritten rule about the fact that if you got a tattoo, you must take a photo showing that you have tattoos, so that if a individual does not like tattoos, they see a tattoo in the photo and they're like, I'm not gonna mess with this person just because I don't like the tattoo. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's just because they're not attracted to tattoos, you show that you have tattoos wherever the tattoos are appropriately visible. And then that person decides, are they going to date a person with tattoos? Right now, similarly, you want to look the way you look on a day-to-day basis. That is going to give you an increased chance of approval. Another thing that's going to give you an increased chance of approval: don't put drama in your bio. You know, recently out of a divorce, child support arguments, all this other bullshit. No, don't put drama in your bio, because women ain't trying to hear nobody. There are very few fixers in the dating realm where a woman's going to be like, oh, this man is so troubled, I want to date him and fix his world. That is not the way things are going right now, not in Western culture. You are more often than not going to find a female that is going to want the finished product. Okay. And if you're not the finished product, you are at least stable enough for her to be satisfied with what you got going on right now. Another thing that is going to be a way to get more matches, but it's not going to be a way to get more genuineness: put your income on your profile. I prefer that you don't put your income on your profile, because women are going to look at how much money you make and they're going to decide that they're going to chase you because of your income. You'll get more matches if you claim that you make more money. But I mean, the truth is that if you're not honest about your income, when they do start dating you and find out that you don't make the amount of money that you said that you make on a profile, they're dating you for the money, but they're going to call you a liar because you weren't honest about the amount of money that you make. I'm going to be frank, ladies. The same way you're not telling the truth about the real length of your hair, the same way you're not telling the truth about your real height, the same way you're not telling the truth about the length of your eyelashes, the push-up bras, the butt lifters, the waist trainers, you know, all of this other stuff that y'all got going on, you cut your eyebrows, draw them back on, you're gluing your hair to your scalp and all this stuff. That there isn't much authenticity in the average Western woman when they dress up. The naturals, there's a lot of women right now that if they're not doing extensions, if they're not doing lace fronts and stuff, they got wigs on, and they wear these wigs because they feel comfortable with the wig, but the hair is nappy up underneath the wig. Sisters, I know y'all know I'm talking to y'all. And the fact is that while y'all are not being the genuine you, a man can't lie about his income on a profile, because all the woman is looking for is the man's income. And if his income is overstated, then she's going to feel betrayed. Well, ladies, if your natural appearance is overstated, we feel betrayed. We got to deal with that, though, in order for us to find that person, because men are not accepted as often as women are. Therefore, a woman can put up a false perception of who she is, and a man, 500 or 1,000 men might accept that false perception. And then for the sake of being able to sleep with this chick, he will be okay with the busted version of her, because he knows that there is a higher level version of her that he can get, but that's paying for upkeep. That's like buying a membership just so that you can see her go Super Saiyan every now and again. It's not acceptable, but a lot of men are doing that. And women are expecting men to pay for that upkeep. And that's one of the reasons why I have said, and I know women take offense to this, but the quantity of money that it costs for you to look pretty, that's the quantity of ugly you are. Because for some reason, if that's what you got to look like on a daily basis to feel comfortable with yourself, or if that's what you got to look like on a daily basis for your man to be comfortable with you, if you decide for any reason to stop looking like that, your relationship is going to fail. Because if he's physically attracted to the false perception that you put out, and then you stop looking like that, he stops being attracted to you. So now you got to put all this money and effort into looking the way that he found you instead of just being yourself. Ladies, y'all should be able to roll out of bed and look gorgeous. Y'all should be able to step out the shower and look gorgeous. You should be able to roll out of bed, jump into the shower, come out of the shower and look gorgeous. You should not have to do nothing but put some shoes on your feet, put some appropriate clothes on and walk out the door. But if it take you 4 hours to get ready to leave the damn house, you got to get up at the crack of dawn so that we can leave at noon, because it takes you that much time to make yourself look presentable for public. That's not going to work. Your relationship ain't going to last. Now, he asked, what was the other things that you do? In your description, you need to be talking about things that women want to hear. If you're trying to get more matches, that's not going to get you more commitment, but it is going to get you more matches. Women want men that are generous. Women want men that are going to travel. Real quick, I did not make your video, Mr. Satellite. I was supposed to get to it, but a couple things had then hit me, and I was like, man, I've been talking about making your video all week. I didn't put special shout out to Mr. Satellite, y'all. Hopefully, I want to say this week. I got a couple days that I'm gonna have more free time to get some stuff done, and I'm hopefully gonna try to get it done before this weekend. Noting that today is Sunday, and I'm saying this weekend by like next Sunday, I'm gonna try to get yours done, because I still got that Fit Chef video. Speaking of Fit Chef, I had made another one because we had to stir fry, and this was a small plate that we had made today with the same ingredients that we had got from the enchiladas. So out of the $170 I spent on this one recipe, and I didn't mix and match like 3 different recipes, but we ended up being able to last about 3 weeks on $170 worth of groceries. And I still got half of them in the house that I still got to cook up and make the quesadillas and the other stuff that we was talking about. And I also $190 because I just bought more stuff to do the milkshakes, the banana strawberry milkshakes, which I'm going to be doing later this week. So y'all going to see that on the show. Instead of coffee, you're going to see some milkshakes up there. So Fit Chef, I'm going to have to put some links up there for y'all so that y'all can click the links and get y'all some of that Fit Chef recipes to help make yourselves healthier, happier individuals. But special shout out to Bayside and Usman, because I know those guys are going to dive in here sometime soon tonight as well. Max the Poser, his dad Joe, and Reese Martinez, and Talenia from Ukraine. Special shout out to her as well. So yeah, that's the thing. But back to it. Left fielded me. Back to it. When it comes to your profile, if you're talking about how you like to travel, you don't have to be a person that travels, but you like to travel. They're going to be like, oh, he likes to travel. They're going to like your profile because you have a decent claimed income and you like to travel. If you're talking about how you like to go on vacations on a regular basis, you don't have to specify a frequency, but the fact that you like to go on vacations and you like to travel, you're looking for adventurous. These are the things that women are looking for, and these type of clues going into your profile will get you more clicks. Now, will that get you commitment? Probably not, because you're not being the real you. If you're looking for commitment is not going to get as many likes as hookups. Commitment is going to require you to tell them that you have a moderate income. If you don't talk about your income at all, you don't have time to travel because you work a lot, but you have enough time to maintain this relationship where you're not working. You will adjust your schedule for this person. If she is valuable to you, be serious about it. You're looking for long-term companionship. So you're not interested in women that are looking for a fun time, because the fun is going to come from a lifetime of being together, not you entertaining their personal preferences. If you're specific about this, yes, you're going to get far less likes. But the ones that do hit, they're serious about your shit. So that's going to be the difference. Quality over quantity. Now, do you want to increase the quantity of hits that you get so that you can increase the quantity of probability that you get laid? Like I told you, there are ways that you can do that. But if you're trying to increase the quality of the hits when they do hit, you're going to have to do a different approach. So stand on your non-negotiable expectations for behavior. And then you'll be able to find the right types of women that you will be able, because there are a lot of good women out there. You got to remember, there's 138 million women in America. There's almost 2 billion women in Asia. You understand? There's plenty of women around the world, and there's a lot of them that are good. But the good ones are hard to find, because the good ones aren't out there upside down dancing on a pole, twerking in the street, at every club, bar, and house party. The good women are in appropriate places, and most of us don't know where those appropriate places are to go and find the good women. And typically when we come across a good woman, she's already taken. She's already in a relationship or married, engaged. And the only time you see a good woman not in a relationship, married, or engaged is when she is widowed or divorced. If she's divorced, you're going to assume that she's damaged goods, when she's not, because she would have been a good woman throughout the marriage, and the man might have done something to mess up the marriage. But because she's divorced, she's damaged goods. If she's widowed, that's the only time that you would assume that she's not damaged goods, because she rode that ride with the man until the man passed, and now she is willing to move on. But it's the women that you find that are widowed or more often than not, usually over the age of 40 years old. So those men that are looking for more children are not looking at women over 40 years old, where you will find very excellent quality women that are older women that would take good care of the man the way the man needs to be taken care of, fulfilling the non-monetary roles of a relationship. But those women aren't able to give the legacy that the man is looking for. You got a lot of women that aren't willing to produce that legacy, because a lot of women don't want children, or they've already had too many children and they don't feel like having any more children, outside of the age scenario. And these women, while they could be good options for a relationship if the man wasn't looking to have a legacy, once a man decides that he wants children from the relationship that he's about to get into, that limits the quantity of women that he can engage, because every woman that's not interested in children right now, or every woman that's not interested in children at all ever going into the future, are not an option. So it's not that they're not good enough, it's the fact that they're not willing to give you what you need, which means that what you're looking for in that person will lead to an argument. It will lead to debates. It will lead to a breakup in a relationship. Or as a man, you would have to suppress your expectations and not have the children that you wanted to have with this woman because she doesn't want it. Now, I'm not saying that women need to be forced to do things that they don't want to do, but I believe that if a woman is not willing to have children and she's talking to a man the first few dates, not having children in her foreseeable future needs to be put on the table, because if that man wants to be a father, or if he is a father and wants to continue being a father, starting the process over again, he needs to know she's not up for that, so that he can decide not to pursue this relationship further. So the women still have the right to say, no, I don't want to be a mother. I don't want to give birth and all this, that, and the other. But they're being honest about this before the man commits to a woman that he's thinking is going to be the mother of the rest of his children. See what I'm saying? So both people are entitled to full disclosure, where she knows what she's getting herself into. So if she commits to this guy and he's looking to have kids, she's committing to this guy knowing that she's going to have to put out kids. If she's not willing to or not capable of putting out kids, she's not committing to this guy, because that's just like committing to $100,000 car and knowing you ain't got the money to pay for that. You can't say, yeah, I'll take it, knowing that there's a price tag on it that you're not willing or capable of fulfilling. I wish I could take it, but I can't take that because that's not inside of my budget. Likewise, I wish I could be the person that you wanted, but your expectations are not inside of my fulfillment matrix. And that's an understandable mutual part. There's no disrespect in saying that your interests do not align with mine. And that is not considered a bad date. A bad date is when somebody's climbing out the bathroom window, sneaking out, walking out the back door and stuff like that. That's a bad date. You know, a bad date is having their friend call during the date to pretend like there's an emergency so that they can remove themselves from the room, instead of being honest and saying that I'm not interested in what you got to offer. You understand? Because you're the one doing the rejection, the way that you do the rejection doesn't bother you because you're never going to engage the person going forward in the future. But the person being rejected, it does bother them and it does matter to them. And there's a thing that people call karma that says that it's going to come back to you. So as these ladies end up in their 30s and 40s and they get out into the dating field and they're starting to experience the same style of rejection men experience. Men have experienced this their entire life. 12, 14, 18 years old. Yes, because boys, young boys, start looking for the girlfriend phase. Y'all remember the middle school crush, the high school crush. Y'all got the dude that's liked you since the first grade kind of thing. He's been your male best friend your entire life because he really liked you when he gave you your cookie in elementary school, and he been following you his whole childhood, but you ain't never recognized his feelings. The men start young selecting the woman that they want. Okay. And they get rejected from an early age, and they just build up a shell over the years throughout that rejection. And that's when they start recognizing that this isn't going to work. And then they start changing the way they do things. They change the way they dress. They change their hairstyle. They change their dialogue. They interact with different types of women in order for them to try to see better results. But the ultimate problem that you have is, if you ladies understand that, you know, mic drop dissing the guy in front of your girls so that they can get a laugh and y'all can talk about it later kind of thing, how you aggressively shut this guy down, that is not good. Because one, each time you do that, you're damaging the guy for the next lady that decides to talk to him. And two, each time somebody else does that, that damages the guy before the guy comes to you. So it's almost like breaking all the dishes in the China store and then saying, I'm gonna go into the store and buy me a plate that ain't broke. It's not possible, because y'all are systematically breaking each dude that you reject because you're not doing it in an appropriate fashion. Then you're saying, well, I can't find a man that's put together. Well, that's because the society of women are breaking the men. You know? We have to take first person accountability. The reason why men can't find women that are modest is because men promote women that are not modest, is the most appropriate way to put it. Since men are chasing sex, women project sex to get attention, and then they can't find a woman that's projecting modesty. That's the man's fault for projecting that, for allowing and promoting that. So women are now going to first put on a bodysuit that shows off all of her private parts before she puts on a dress and presents herself like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. An outfit from Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, it would honestly, in today's society, be more attractive than any one of the outfits that Little Kim wears on stage. Because the thing is that when a man is attracted to a woman for something other than sex, that is more valuable to the woman and the man than just, oh, I could sleep with her. Based on the way she looks, based on the way she's exposing herself, I could see myself sleeping with her a few times. So that mentality leads him to attempt to at least sleep with her once. Now the women have to put forth the effort into getting as much as she can out of this man before he sleeps with her, because after the first time he sleeps with her, if he's not satisfied, there's not going to be a second time. And then if he is satisfied with it, there might be a few more times, but there's only so many times he's going to sleep with her before he starts deciding that the cost to get her to sleep with him is more than the effort is worth. And then he's going to stop putting in that effort. He's going to stop paying that cost, and they're going to part ways. So that relationship isn't going to last. So what we need to do is we need to change the dynamic. So yeah, brother, you can put up a relationship. You can put up stuff on a bio that could get more hits. That don't mean that those conversations online is going to last that long. It just means that more women are going to swipe right on your profile based on your bio. So more women are going to swipe right on your profile based on a photo. But that doesn't mean that the conversations after they swipe right are going to be more fulfilling. That doesn't mean that those conversations are going to lead to in-person engagements. It just means that you're going to get more hits. But why are we in 2025 in a society where we're getting more hits, but we're not getting more meaningful engagements? While we're more socially connected online, we are more socially distant in person. Most of us have more friends online than we have friends in person. We have more people that we will connect to on a social media platform than we got people we will leave our house to go visit in a day, in a week, in a month. And we got to stop and ask ourselves, why? Why are we willing to spend more time laying in our bed, sitting on our couch, hanging out in a chair in the back of the room somewhere, on our cell phone, chatting with a bunch of people on social media, but we're not willing to get up and go outside and hang out in real time with people that will give us visual recognition of our existence? Then you got to think about how most of us are painting this image of who we are on social media so that we can get more likes, we can get more hits, we can get more people in our DMs. And then all we're really doing is entertaining a facade, because the lifestyle that you live on social media, the highlight reel that you put up on social media, is not the lifestyle that you live in real life. In real life, most of y'all are lonely. Most of y'all are workaholics. Most of y'all are watching a podcast right now because you got insomnia, you can't sleep, it's almost midnight, you ain't going out because it's Sunday, you got to go to work in the morning. So the videos that y'all put up of being party animals and traveling the world and seeing all this expensive stuff that ain't yours, you were out there with this expensive car taking photos on somebody else's car. That's not your car. You was out there at this location at somebody else's expense. You didn't pay to go there. You are visiting somebody else's luxury, and you're taking photos in the luxurious environment, but that's not your environment. You know, you might be on Section 8 in the hood somewhere, but because you walked into this guy's mansion, you're taking photos inside the mansion. You're taking photos by the pool. You're taking photos in this expensive restaurant. You're taking photos at this expensive nightclub, but you're not paying for none of that. You're going on somebody else's accord. So you're putting up a facade online. So other people will look at that and like, oh, so-and-so's got a lavish lifestyle. So-and-so lives the high life. No, you don't. You live off of the expectations of the people who's taking you places. And this is both men and women, because your friends could take you places as fellas where y'all might know somebody that's got it a little bit better than you. And you going along for the ride because you're the designated driver. Now you're in places doing things that you otherwise would not be able to afford to do, because you got to drive all the drunk people that got money to where they got to go so that they don't get a DUI. So you're not living that lifestyle because that's your lifestyle. You living that lifestyle because the first time in a while you're going out with your homies because they need somebody to drive so that they don't get any more tickets. So really, you're a babysitter and you're taking photos. You're an adult babysitter and you're taking photos like you live in a high life. That make no damn sense. So if you want to update your profile, that's a good way to do it. You update your profile, put some stuff up there that they want to hear. Put new photos of yourself up there on a regular basis, so that if they come across your photo last time and they swipe left because of photos that was up there, the next time they come across your photo, they're going to swipe right on it, because y'all have, the algorithm says that y'all have similar interests. So the algorithm is going to put you back into the feed when they run out of people to swipe right on. And depending on the day, they may swipe right on you one day based on how they feel, and then they might swipe left on you another day based on the increased level of confidence. And you'll understand that people will swipe right more often when they have lower self-esteem than what they will swipe right when they have higher self-esteem. Your standards, when you're feeling bad about yourself that day, that week, based on the shit you're going through, your standards are going to lower themselves. So you will accept certain things and swipe right on certain things that you will otherwise say, hell no, I don't even want to put myself through that bullshit. See what I'm saying? So change up your photos. It'll put you back into the real, and you'll see the improvements in your likes. All right, let's go ahead and check on the next comment.
We both love each other, but she doesn't find me attractive. I am 31, and I met this girl who's 29 online. We're from different countries. We chatted online for a while, and we both realized how similar we are. We like the same things, we have the same interests, and we hold the same opinions on a lot of things. We started falling for each other, and our conversations became intimate. We eventually decided to meet, and we both decided to go on a trip and meet in a popular touristic country. When I met her for the first time, she was everything I hoped to be. She was perfect in my eyes. Even though she was a little bit insecure about her body because she gained some weight, she was still perfect to me. Our first day together was perfect, even though we were both nervous before meeting each other. But when we met, all that anxiety went away, and everything just felt so natural. During second and third days, things were getting even more romantic, and she was holding me and cuddling me all the time, telling me how she loves me, and she's having the best time. However, I noticed she was avoiding being intimate with me. I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't want to bring it up and ruin the beautiful trip we were having. After we went back home, I brought it up. She started crying and was saying she wasn't physically attracted to me. She said she still loved me so much. She said I had the perfect personality and she never loved someone like me, and she still wants to be with me. That crushed my self-esteem. I'm average in attractiveness, but never had someone tell me I wasn't attractive to them, and I'm not expecting myself to be attractive to everyone, but hearing that I wasn't attractive to her crushed my soul. She's perfect to me. We still love each other, and she still wants us together and begged me not to leave her. She was very depressed before we met, and she said I made her happy for the first time in 20 years. I honestly don't know what to do. I love her and don't think I'll ever find someone who I will love or can understand me as much as her. But also I can't imagine living my life with someone who's not attracted to me. I'm scared love will fade away because of this. I know it's not her fault for not being physically attracted to me. It's just biology and I can't force it. She wants us to meet again, but I don't know if I can go through this. If I break up with her, I can live with the pain, but I'll also hurt her immensely.
Well, part of me don't understand what you're bitching about, because if she want to be with you, bro, then you should see how that works out. Truth of the matter is that women don't always go after the men that they spend the rest of their life with, that they're attracted to. There are women that are satisfied with the lifestyle that he has. They like his personality, they like his attitude, but he's just not the cutest guy in the group. Okay. That's a thing. Women are not physical. Women are emotional. So if you have captured her heart, you have captured her. She just can't look at you during sex. The thing is that men are physical. So if a man isn't physically attracted to you, she could capture your heart and you could still go sleep with another girl because you're not attracted to her. So if she wants to be with you, she can learn to love you and she can learn to accept your lack of attractiveness without infidelity. And as long as you have the patience, and that's what that relationship would really need, is the patience to deal with her lack of sexual desire towards you. If y'all can work that out, you would be fine in your relationship. One of the things that a lot of men think about when they're younger, because you said you were what, 30, 31 years old, your sex drive diminishes at 30 years old. So if you're dating her now, you're 30, 31 years old, 10 years from now at 41 years old, you're probably going to be interested in sex, probably, 2-3 times a week at the most, a couple times a month, depending on how busy you are. So the emotional attention that you guys have towards one another is going to become more important to you than the physical attraction that you have towards one another. And the older men get, the less testosterone men have, and the more estrogen that men develop, where at some point you reach in your relationship, if you're 31, by the time you're 55 or 66, if y'all lasted that long, you would be in the type of relationship where y'all would be more emotional and in each other's presence than actually physical sexual activity. So if you have that emotional connection, that's one of the reasons why people say that the emotional connection is more important than the physical connection, because the desire to sleep with one another will fade, but the emotional bond, the double bond of the emotional bond, is stronger than the single bond of the physical bond. So when that physical bond breaks, the emotional bond stays there. The same thing with infidelity. When one person cheats on the other person, they may not have the desire to have sex with that person anymore because they feel betrayed. But the emotional bond between the two of them will allow them to stay together and live a reasonable life together, if not an excessively happy life together after the affair. So you shouldn't be focusing on her physical attraction to you if she is going to dedicate herself to you, and you're going to put forth effort to dedicate yourself to her. The physical connection may come, and then her ability to change might happen when she gets used to being around you. Most men are not going to be, there's my guy, Bayside. You know, Mr. Satellite was just up in here. Bayside, he's one of the regulars that's always in here. I told y'all, for those of you that are on Twitter, Twitch, I'm going to put this up here again for y'all just in case y'all don't see it in your comment section. If y'all click that link, y'all can approve the mic, approve the camera, and bring it in real time. But the rest of y'all can actually comment on the show, and we will see what you got to say on the show on a regular basis. So make sure that you guys put forth the effort to put your comments in here, especially if you're on Twitter or Twitch. It's good to see you guys. So definitely. Oh, hey, I was showing Mr. Satellite. So I got to do it again. I was showing Mr. Satellite. We made the stir fry out of some of the ingredients from the enchiladas. So after we ran through the recipe for the enchiladas, I went through the stir fry recipe, and I was like, yeah, this is what's up. Because I'm right at $190, and I haven't even started making the quesadillas yet, but I still got plenty of ingredients there for the quesadillas, and I was supposed to be doing that sometime, hopefully this week after I make Mr. Satellite's video. But there's plenty here, and we've been doing this 3 weeks, and we haven't even gone through all of the ingredients yet. So I'm excited for the Fit Chef recipes, because actually it's improving my budget. Cause this is a big man meal right here. This is a big man. This is like a hungry man meal right here. Right. And I was like, yo, I might eat one plate of that a day and be like, all right, I'm full. So I was actually really enjoying that. But yeah, let's go ahead and tiptoe into the next comment. So I know now that Bayside's able to talk, I know when he hears some of these other ones, he's gonna be throwing in some 2 cents.
My partner admitted to almost cheating. My partner, who's 27 of almost 2 years, admitted to almost cheating on me, and I'm 30, and I am not sure what to feel. She admitted to it when I pressed her after getting the feeling something was off. We had an argument a couple weeks back on top of her grandmother dying and finishing grad school. We took a couple days to cool off, and between those days, she messaged a man on Instagram she saw at a seminar and propositioned him. She showed me the messages, but after a very brief conversation, it stopped. I asked her why, and she said she couldn't go through with it. And as soon as he said he was interested, she stopped messaging him. I asked her why did she do this. She's not a sexual person, and usually needs to connect with someone before any intimacy occurs. She said she didn't feel in control of her life. Between our argument, her grandparents passing, not getting a job after finishing school, and having to redo her thesis paper, she felt not in control. She said she's sorry and understands that it will take time to build trust back, but I'm not even sure I can. Anytime I think about it, I think she may be lying. What if she's done this before? What if she went through with it and is just trying to sweep it under the rug? What could be done to rectify this? The only way I imagine gaining trust is to police her, and that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. That's what women do to men. It's not a good idea for either side to do something like that. Um, no woman wants to be policed by her husband or her boyfriend. So monitoring text messages and going through the Google search history and GPS tracking locations is definitely unnecessary controlling behavior. You should only be following your partner's location in the interest of their safety, so that if they are in trouble, you can go there before the police gets there, since typically in most cities or in the United States, the further away from a police station, the higher the response time. Well, no, it's the reverse. The closer you are to a police station, the higher the response time. And they typically put law enforcement in the financially stable environments. The low income neighborhoods, not so much so. You want to know where your partner is in case of an emergency so that you can get to them faster. But you don't want to stalk your partner in order to make sure that they're not betraying the sanctity of your marriage or your relationship. If you don't trust her, the relationship is dead. There's nothing you can do about that. Rebuilding trust requires you to be able to forgive without forgetting and give her the opportunity to redeem herself. While people do make mistakes and people are entitled to redemption, it is your first responsibility to recognize that you need to forgive her in order for there to even be an option for her to redeem herself. If you can't forgive her for her actions, nothing that she's going to do is make you think anything other than, if she's ever late, if she ever takes too long to respond on a text message, if she ever takes too long to respond to a phone call, if she doesn't check in a reasonable period of time, it is always going to run through your mind that she could be sleeping with somebody right now. And there's more to that when I go on to the other half of this. The other issue that you're going to have is a lot of people, male and female alike, want to know if they're attractive to people that they're not in a relationship with. Some people do that when they're ready to leave the relationship they're in. They'll test the waters, see if there's still value in them. The same way some people will put their car up for sale even if they're not willing to sell it, just to see if somebody will try to buy it. And the fact is that people who test the waters to see if they still got it, it's a self-esteem booster. While they may not act on that, the fact is that they attempted to put themselves back out there, and that is a betrayal equivalent to going through the act. It's an emotional betrayal outside of a physical betrayal. Women hold men to the physical betrayal the same way men hold women to the physical betrayal, but women a lot of times forget that they are held to the same emotional betrayal that men are held to when a man cheats on a woman and she asks him, "Do you love her?" The same way when a woman cheats on a man and a man says, "Well, did you sleep with him?" Because men are physical, women are emotional. If a man has an emotional bond with the woman, the wife or girlfriend knows that their marriage, their relationship is dead because his heart is now with somebody else. When a physical connection happens between a woman and another man, her boyfriend or her husband knows that the relationship is dead because the physical connection has broken between the two of them. That exclusivity has broken. Now, the concern that you're going to have with that is, outside of the people who want to see if they still got it, there are people who want to see what you're going to do. So they'll go out there and try to set things up and, try to see if they can get into the act of getting selected, just to make you jealous, just to make you angry, just to see what you're going to do. And that's a toxic behavior to have. Now, my problem with her decision-making process is that she's going through a lot of stuff. She's got a lot of things that she's trying to accomplish right now. And in the midst of stress, she decides to try to sleep with somebody else. She doesn't relieve her stress by sleeping with her boyfriend or her husband. She tries to relieve her stress by setting up an engagement with somebody else. Now, what that lets me know is that down the line, because that yes has been postponed, whoever that guy is that says I'm interested is waiting for her to schedule a day. Now, she's already got people on standby in her DMs. if you and her have another falling out in the future, there's a higher probability based on her current track of behavior that she can contact those people, say, where are you? Let's hook up. And they will give their location. And if they're within reasonable distance of one another, they can meet and have an affair. And this is the type of behavior that she's doing when y'all are on a supposed break. When you are on a break, you are not supposed to be proactively looking for sexual partners that are not inside of your relationship. When you are on a break, you're not supposed to be proactively looking for emotional bonds to be formulated with individuals that are not inside of your relationship. That is the type of betrayal that would lead me to say that based on what she decided to do, that relationship is done. Because the only thing that happened, the first time you steal, you might take a piece of candy. The second time you steal, you might steal a little toy or something cheap, a CD or something like that. The next time you steal, you're stealing large things. You're stealing expensive things. You're pickpocketing friends. The things progress. The first time she almost cheated. The next time she will cheat. One of these times she might end up pregnant for somebody else. And then the problem is, what type of integrity does she have? Is she the type of woman to tell you that she's pregnant and it's not your baby? Or is she the type of woman to just tell you that she's pregnant and let you believe that it is your baby without actually telling you that it is your baby? See what I'm saying? So to prevent from going down that road, it is in your best interest to circumvent this situation by removing yourself out of it, because and I know I preach a lot about fixing things, and fixing things require you to recognize what part did you play in the failure of this. And if you played a pretty decent part in the failure of this, then while they may have made some mistakes that they shouldn't have made, you made mistakes that led to this. If you understand that your contributions and her stress and her frustration leaded her in a direction against your relationship to have an affair with somebody else, then you're taking accountability for your actions to push her away, and you're going to forgive her in addition to apologizing for how you behaved. And you're going to work on not treating her that way so that she does not feel compelled to look for of validation outside of the relationship. And she's going to work on not seeking validation outside of the relationship. And that will prevent you guys from experiencing this again. That requires you to fix it. But if you're telling me that you don't believe you did anything that would compel her to seek validation outside of the relationship, that she was just overwhelmed with emotions and y'all are not agreeing to things, and instead of her cooling off by literally, getting some alone time and working through her thoughts and then coming back and addressing the situations in an adult fashion, she decides to go try to get laid. I would say that type of behavior deserves a separation of the relationship altogether. So it depends. Did you influence negativity by berating her and belittling her and destroying her emotional status in an extreme time right after the funeral and stuff? Or was she being overly emotional, hostile, and then pushed you away and then decided to go and try to hook up with somebody else after she pushed you away? When you're able to analyze that, then you're able to determine whether or not you should stay or leave. Because if she pushed you away once within 2 days and was able to find somebody to hook up with, just imagine what she would have done if she would have pushed you away and y'all would have been not on speaking terms for a week. Okay, that's the dynamic. So if you pushed her away, fix it. But if she pushed you away, bro, that's it. It's done. It's done. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We got a little bit of time. We got a few.
Am I just paranoid, or is she cheating? So, I am 24 right now, and I have been dating this girl who's 22 for a while now, and I'm questioning myself if she's cheating. Today, around 1600 hours, she went for drinks with a male colleague she's known for like 3 years but never had anything going on with. She also made him some diner, a chicken recipe she really likes. She makes it for more people, and now, 22:30, they are watching a movie together. She said they didn't really have a plan for what they were going to do. She hasn't responded to any of my messages, but she did respond to people in group chats we both are part of. Are my worries justified, or am I just being paranoid? I think I'm cooked. She hasn't responded in 2 hours now. She has started conversations in our group chats, not replied to people, just fully started a new conversation. So yeah, fuck, that the disrespect-ometer can't even measure the level of disrespect. She said they went out and she drove him home, but they never even got in her car. We're neighbors and I have full view over our parking lot. She is fully lying. So yeah, I'll be getting my stuff and moving on.
So she's been talking to this dude for 3 years. This is why people aren't supposed to have friends of the opposite sex while they're supposed to be in a relationship with somebody else. She had an emotional connection with him. She took him out on a date. She cooked for him. They're doing a Netflix and chill thing. And then she's ignoring you. If you're supposed to be the boyfriend, she's not supposed to be ignoring you. Truth be told, when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be, if you have friends of the opposite sex, you should be able to include your partner in your engagements with the friend of the opposite sex. So if you're going to cook dinner, she should have invited him over, well, with your permission, over to your place, and the three of y'all hung out together in a platonic fashion where y'all could have the dinner, communicate. She can touch base with this long lost buddy of hers. Y'all could watch movie, do karaoke, play cards, whatever. And then the guy can see himself out and she can stay with you. Not saying that women are not allowed to have male friends, but typically the same thought process that women have about men having female friends is the same thought process that men have about women having female friends. So uniformly speaking, that any person, whether they're confident in themselves or confident in their relationship, is going to subconsciously believe that if there is a bond between their partner and another person of the opposite sex, that there is potential that they either used to sleep together or they're currently sleeping together. And that will develop insecurity in the relationship, no matter how confident you are in yourself, because most of us do not believe the mentality that your trust in your partner should be that he or she will not do anything that you would not do in that exact same situation. So if I was in a room full of women, I would not cheat on my girl. I would expect my girl to be in a room full of men and not cheat on me. Now, that is a high expectation and it's a bold assumption because you're not the same person. You don't have the same thought process, but you can only expect somebody else to do what you are willing to do in that exact same situation. That is the level of mutual respect. Now, if that person has a heightened level of respect from you, a heightened level of a loyalty from you, they're willing to have more self-control than you are, then you know if you would not take that action, they're definitely not going to take that action. But now, depending on how new your relationship is, if y'all don't have that level of confidence in one another, even if I know that I would not cheat on you, I don't have the trust that you won't cheat on me, and you're showing me signs that you have a connection there that could lead to an affair, I'm always going to question that. So how do you provide reassurance? You've got this buddy from way back when, opposite sex, your buddy from way back when. Y'all might behave like siblings with one another. Y'all might behave like a married couple with one another. I'm new to your life in comparison to this person who's been in your life for a long period of time before I got here. I'm not supposed to interfere with that, but you are supposed to be able to show the respect and validation to give me the reassurance that you're not doing anything that you're not supposed to do. So she's meeting up with this buddy from way back when. They're going to go hang out. You don't feel like being involved in that. You don't feel like being involved with that. That's one of those situations where she decides, well, they're going to go have dinner. They're going to cook. She's going to check in with you, let you know everything's going good, maybe video call, stuff to that effect. They're watching a movie. You're going to check in a little bit later. She's going to video call, stuff like that. Then, she might decide to come get you or come to you, where they're going to part ways from the house and then come over to your house, that would be the scenario where everything is good. But truth is, bro, just like Bayside saying, walk away, but her lack of respect towards you says it all. She'll drag you around until she finds a suitor she fancies, and that's the truth. The fact is that a lot of guys with very low self-esteem and very low self-confidence will allow themselves to be strung along with the uncertainty of, should I go? If you got to ask yourself, should I go? You should have left already. And that goes for every situation. If you're in a bank robbery, you're supposed to be driving the car, your homeboys just stole it, but should I be here? The question isn't, should I be here? The question is, why shouldn't I have left already? I should have been gone. You know what I'm saying? If you're in an uncertainty scenario where this could negatively impact me, should I remove myself from the negativity, or should I see how this plays out? You should never see how it plays out. You should always remove yourself from something that's going to have catastrophic failure to your immediate future. So like Bayside said, you need to walk the fuck away. Then you got to think about the fact that she on a date with a homie, allegedly, right? She's talking to her homegirls in the group chat. She's ignoring your responses in the group chat. She started up a whole new conversation in the group chat while you're reaching out to her in the damn group chat. What kind of bullshit is that? First of all, why the fuck y'all in a group chat? Where's you and your girlfriend and other motherfuckers? When you trying to figure out where the fuck your girlfriend is at and what the fuck she doing with this other dude. Like, that shouldn't even be a thing. Y'all should have a one-on-one conversation where you should be like, hey, where you at? What you doing? I'm coming over, if you're going to preserve the relationship. But no, you telling me y'all live in the same area. Her car is outside of your balcony window. Her car ain't never moved. She done made this dude dinner, stayed, watched a movie, and then the car did not leave the house until the next day. And she's supposed to be driving him. Bro, she fed up, Netflixed and chilled, waxed, rinsed, repeated. That's it. It's done. It's done. Because if y'all live that close to one another where her car is in your backyard, bro, she should have brought the motherfucker to your house. That's inappropriate. But that would have been more respectful. If he would have came over, she would have got him something to eat because he came a long way. They don't want to waste no pile of money on no food. She made a plate for you. So she cooking for you, but she going to give him some. He ate some. She going to box up some. She going to walk him over to your place. He done probably been over at her house for about an hour and a half, however long it took for her to cook the food. Then they come over by your house, and now y'all sitting over there talking and catching up and shit to that effect. That is less disrespectful. But that bullshit that she just put off, bro. Soon as she told me that she was cooking for another dude, I would have been like, well, fuck all that. You ain't got to worry about cooking for me no more. Because I eat too much. You see the size plates of food that I eat. You ain't got enough time to feed no other man with the quantity of food. I eat food like that 4 times a day. You ain't got time to feed nobody else. So if you feeding somebody else, that's the utmost betrayal to me. Like, they got some of these females, Bayside, we talked about this one time before, these females that got these work husbands. She over here making food at the house for her work husband to take to the job to feed this grown-ass man at the job, but she ain't making food for you at the damn house. Oh, no, that relationship, marriage, whatever that is, it's dead, bro, because you doing for somebody else what you're not willing to do for me. Fuck all that. Bayside said, fellas and ladies, life is too short and there is a whole world full of beautiful people. Don't limit yourself. As Xander says, travel abroad, people. Treat yourselves right. And I agree because we talk about a different country every Wednesday. We talk about a different country that you can go live. And fellas, I specifically point out countries that have that traditional patriarchal behavior that the men look for. And it's not that women should not be alpha boss ladies. You should. But the role of the man from the expectations of women is that men are supposed to be protectors, providers, and leaders. That means that when the woman is by herself and single, she is supposed to be able to protect, provide, and lead herself. But that also means that when she selects a man, she is supposed to be selecting a man with the capabilities of protecting and providing for her the way she protects and provides for herself, and lead her better than she leads herself. So you're not looking for a man with financial status. You're looking for a man with good decision-making skills, good financial knowledge, and enough resources to support the two of y'all and children if y'all are trying to have children. Once you find that in a dude, you are supposed to retire from the position of being the leader, the same way the founder of the company retires from the position of authority and allows the CEOs to run the shit. The same way Vince McMahon stopped running the WWE and let Triple H run it. That's why it got sold to TKO. He stepped down from being a leader when he found somebody else that could lead his empire the way he wanted to be leaded. And ladies, y'all are supposed to be doing the same thing. When y'all find a man that can lead y'all the way y'all want life to be led, you step down from the leadership role. That means that you follow the lead now. And that does not mean that you're not in charge. That does not mean that you're not an authority. What that means is that while the man is dealing with all of the day-to-day bullshit, you got more time to pay attention to the important stuff. The shit that he ain't got time to pay attention to, that's what you're able to pay attention to. You're able to pay attention to retirement. You're able to pay attention to the vacations. You're able to pay attention to the inheritance, the child's tuition. You're able to pay attention to upgrades, to the cars and the houses and all this other stuff. But you can't tell me that you want to deal with every single little petty thing in life, micromanaging every decision in life, and that the man is not supposed to have any say in anything, but you're not going to pay the cost for those decisions. That's not what this is about. So ladies, what y'all got to do, y'all got to put yourselves in a position of saying, well, I'm not chasing a man that is not going to make the right decisions. I'm chasing a man that will make the right decisions. That way I could trust him to make those decisions. When y'all hire lawyers, I tell y'all this all the time. When y'all hire a lawyer, you make sure that lawyer is going to do the things that you want him to do. Then when you know that the lawyer is going to make the decisions that you want made, he's going to say the stuff in the courtroom that you want him to say, you're going to sit back like OJ and not say shit until this case is closed, because you can trust your lawyer. Just like you can trust your lawyer, you're supposed to pick a man and you can trust your man. Not you could trust your man with your best friend. Not you could trust your man with your sister, your mama, your cousin. You could trust your man to make important decisions that will benefit you. You are supposed to make sure that your needs are put on the table, not your personal desires, your unrealistic expectations. Your needs are put on the table so that your man can show you that he will prioritize your needs in line with his decision-making skills. If he's prioritizing your needs while he's making decisions, he's not going to buy a car that you're not going to drive. So he's not going to buy a car just because you think it looks cute. He's going to buy a car because it's durable, it's good on gas, it's cheap to fix. It's not going to take a long time if it does have to get fixed. It shouldn't require to be fixed that often, so that you don't have no problems when you drive the damn car. If you don't know how to drive a stick, he's not buying a stick shift. He's going to buy a car that you know how to drive, because he's paying attention to what benefits you. But if he buy you a car, it's big enough to fit you, regardless of what your size, whether you're a small girl or a big girl. He buy you a car to fit you, for you to go to places for yourself. You're not supposed to be mad at him because he did not buy a car big enough for you to put all your fat friends in. That's not what this is about. This is about him looking out for you, not looking out for your squad. Some women aren't paying attention to that. So instead of them selecting a man that is going to prioritize the woman, they're looking for a man that's going to prioritize the woman's entourage. And if he's not willing to prioritize her entourage, she don't want him. That's why y'all got them memes out there, them shorts out there, them videos on social media. He said cooking for another man. Bye, Felicia. He ain't lying. But them short videos that you've seen on social media where the female go on a date. She bring her friend on a date. She bring a bunch of her friends on a date, some of these skits, and then the woman expects the man to pay for all the women at the table. I ain't fucking all them women. That's not what this is about. Do I look like Nick Cannon? I'm not out here throwing money at all the women at the table. Do I look like Flavor Flav? I'm not out here trying to throw women at all the, you know what I'm saying? The only reason why Flavor had all them women in his house for The Bachelor was because he rich. He He said, not my job. Exactly. He got all the females out there because he's rich. So he could spend enough money to smash 20 women in his house, and the women will fight over him. And because he's rich, not because he was attractive. He ugly as hell, but he probably like a 3 or a 2 on a Richter scale. But the fact is that his richness make him a 10. Because they're not judging him based on looks. They're judging him based on how much money they can spend off of him. And since he doesn't have good decision-making skills with his money, he could pay for 20 women to live in his house. But the average man that does not have all that money to throw around, that man got enough money to take care of him, maybe one other person, and maybe 1 or 2 kids. So that family of 4, any people outside of that budget is not in line. He gonna have to take money from somebody to give it to somebody else. And that's why women want that monogamy. So understanding that, ladies, y'all need to be looking for a man that's got his shit together financially, because he's making the kind of decisions you would have made with the quantity of money that he got. You're looking at how he could take your money and his money together and work in a direction of making y'all millionaires. So Bayside Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the strategy with these cash stocks that we've been picking up over the past three months. And I'm going to be telling you the ex-dividend dates of some, the payout dates of others, and how you could take the money from the payout dates of one and put it onto the investment of the other one, so that you can start building up your stock portfolio, so that we can start getting more cash stocks on a monthly basis. You should start getting your phone should be ringing off the hook from cash payments from a stock option, instead of your phone ringing off the hook from debt collectors. But most of us spend more time chasing females, and then the females know they're being chased. So what females are doing, instead of them testing the man's integrity, they testing the man's wallet. And while they testing the man's wallet, what they're doing is they're trying to see how much money is he willing to spend before I have to sleep with him. Then they're going to see how many men that will spend money on them before they have to sleep with one of them men. Some of the men that they're not sexually attracted to, they will allow the man to spend until he gets tired of spending, and then they'll let that man walk away. But the ones that they are sexually attracted to, they will sleep with that man, and that man will continue to spend on them. But they got like 5, 10 male best friends, and not one woman can say with true honesty that they've got a male best friend that ain't never did nothing for them. Most women have more than 1, more than 5 male best friends. Ladies, y'all on the show right now, y'all could sit here and think about 10 or 15 dudes that y'all are not interested in having a relationship with, that y'all respond to text messages and phone calls for, that y'all can send a text message or a phone call to get money, babysitters, rides, emotional support. He'll take you shopping. Even if he taking you shopping with your money, you're going to try on clothes and get his opinion, which is a way of flirting with him, because he get to see you in your underwear. He get to see you changing clothes and this, that, and that gives him a little bit of fanfare, so that he might buy some of the outfits that you trying on. But none of these men are you interested in a serious relationship with. If you can go through your phone and find more male numbers in your phone than you got fingers on your hands, then you got eyelashes in your eyes that are real, then you need to start purging your phone, and you should only start talking to the men that you are interested in a future with. Because the men that you are not interested in a future with is going to damage your ability to find a lifelong partnership with the man that you actually want a future with, because you're emotionally divided between each man that satisfies you financially. So you're not able to 100% commit to the man that is trying to commit to you, because you technically have 10 men that you're not interested in, that you're not committing to, that are interested in you. You just haven't given them the chance. Special shout out to Ruderus. I got a Saint was playing me, and I think he got me, but I think I took his rook, but I'm about to see what his move is after the show tonight. So me and Ruderus plays chess on a regular basis, and it's good to see you, Ruderus. Definitely good to see you. Now let's check out this next one.
My girlfriend of 4 years sent flirty messages to another guy.
Oh shit.
I am 25. Been with my girlfriend for 4 years. Lately, I found old chats between her and another guy. She tells him things like, I missed you more than usual today, red heart's pleading face. And can I be honest with you about something, red heart, red heart, red heart. She has also told him on multiple occasions that she loves him. It's flirty and emotional. I've given up a lot in this relationship. Friends, hobbies, even time with family. I feel like I'm always the one apologizing. Now this. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if this crosses a line. Should I stay or move on?
Oh shit, that relationship was dead a long time ago. I don't even know why you still there talking about some you always apologetic. We're in a society right now that it has been tradition that that men are always wrong, women are always right. That's a bold-faced lie. Uniformity dictates that when I fuck up, first person accountability, I should be able to recognize when I fuck up. And when she fucks up, first person accountability, she is supposed to recognize that she's fucking up. He said the girl is so I mean, so I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Ruderus. I know what you're saying. But she dirty. She dirty because why is she sitting over here? Because you've been in a long-term relationship with this girl. She's sending love letters to this man on social media. That's emotional cheating. Your relationship is dead at that point. That the relationship is dead at that point. She over here telling this other man that she love him. You are not, no matter male or female, you are not supposed to be in an emotional entanglement with anybody that is not your romantic partner. So if you are on the same level as somebody else that is not in your relationship, that emotional level, if that's the same, your relationship is dead, because that means that she with you physically for reasons other than her heart is with him. And the difference, men and women can both do this. A man can put his physical connections with women in a different place that he can put his heart. So he can love you and sleep with other women. Ladies can do the same thing. Ladies can love you and sleep with other men. Now, a man will love the woman that he's married to and sleep with other women for validation and other such purposes. A woman will love the man that has her emotional attention and then sleep with the man that has the financial status. Recognizing this dynamic, if she's got that type of emotional connection on social media, that's a dead topic, bro. I don't even know why you in there. But recognizing that we're in a society where men are always going to expect themselves to be wrong and women are always supposed to expect themselves to be right, that is a belittling factor, because uniformity dictates that if she did something that she's not supposed to do, she's supposed to recognize her first person accountability, and she is supposed to be able to communicate that and then redeem herself from those negative behaviors in a relationship, recognizing you as an equal partner in a relationship. And he is supposed to do the same thing when he messes up, and this is an accident, not deliberate behavior. He is supposed to apologize or seek redemption from that, only when these are scenarios where you did not intentionally do something that you knew was going to negatively impact your partner. So if you did something on purpose, but you didn't think it would hurt your partner, you're not apologizing for what you did. You're apologizing for how it affected your partner. Some people apologize because they got caught. You're not supposed to apologize because you got caught, because you're not sorry that you did it. You're sorry that you got caught. No, if you did that shit on purpose, there's nothing to apologize for. There's nothing to explain. It doesn't matter if it's infidelity or what. Yeah, I did it. That's what I wanted to do. Now, the question is, are you going to stay with me now that you know? If you're going to be genuine about your responsibility, you are going to accept the fact that this is what I chose to do. So just like the girl who had the 2-day layover with her boyfriend and decided to actively seek a romantic partner that wasn't involved in her relationship, she was deliberately looking for somebody else to smash. And then her guilt stopped her from taking that out. But had she not had that guilt, or had she been doing that out of revenge for how you made her feel, she would have smashed somebody else. She could have came back with an STD, gave it to you, and then been pregnant with the other dude. And you would have been paying for that baby for 18 years because you forgot to get the DNA test. And your whole life was ruined because she got mad at you one time. You're not going to be able to do that to her. That's not how that, and mutual respect, we're not supposed to be treating each other this way. Ruderus says, I don't understand what they get making another accomplice when they can't handle one. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. There is no reason why you should have extra folks on your scenario when you're not even able to balance the relationship that you got. If you have a individual that you are supposed to be giving you all to, you don't have room to give nothing else to nobody else. If you got room to give something to somebody else, you're not giving all to this one person, which means that if that other person is giving you everything they got in a relationship and you only giving some, you are not behaving like an equal partner in the relationship. You're showing that you are not equally invested in the relationship. If we was all supposed to be equally invested on this trip, you're not supposed to be booking other trips while you got me paying more for this trip than you paying because you ain't got enough money. Well, if you stop paying for extra shit, you would have enough money. You stop investing your emotional attention on other dudes, you would have enough emotional attention for me. So if you see some stuff like this, fellas, it's time to go. Let's double check on this next one.
Last date I went on made me lose hope in finding someone. I've been dating a 25F for the last month. This was our second date and it went super well. We went to the zoo, stayed for 4 hours, she laughed, suggested prolonging the date, kissed me and said she would let me know when she was free next. Then as soon as I got home got the classic, the distance between us is too much, thanks for everything. Like I just feel baffled. She dated me knowing there was an hour distance between us, not huge amount, and came along on a date and seemed to have a great time. If she felt uncomfortable, I think she was the type of person who would have left. Just seems so weird, and even she said, "It sucks delivering the news after such a lovely day." Just sucks whenever you start to connect with someone, they just do a 360 at random times. Maybe distance was too much? Maybe she did not feel the connection? Maybe someone else? Either way, on paper we got on super well. That's why it's giving me doubt on finding someone when the people who actually get on with me seem to not want to make the effort to connect.
Okay, so the problem that she got is that she ain't have enough gas money to make the jam trip. It's too far for her. She went on a date because she's not paying for it. When she's seeing how much money she spent to get out there and come back, she not willing to pay that kind of money to meet you halfway. God forbid she got to go the whole way. So even though y'all had a fantastic time, y'all had a really good connection, everything worked out between y'all, the fact is that her financial status does not support her commuting to you 2-3 times a week, every week for the nearby future until y'all move closer together. Now, if you were the kind of man to fill her gas tank on a regular basis, she probably would be more willing to see that relationship go further. But the fact is that it ain't in her budget. It's not that she was a bad person. It's just that she letting you know, hey, you too damn far. My car don't make that kind of mileage. I had to put gas in my car twice. I paid $200 on just driving. Like, what the hell? And that's good. Bayside says sound like she was honest about her decision. And I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Once she analyzed her situation, you know, she letting you know that it ain't gonna work for her because she can't afford this shit. Respected if she wanted somebody closer, you know, I understand, and I understand it too. It's I understand it too. Now, what I can say is that she should have been able to look at your profile when y'all started communicating with one another. When you told her your general location, because I understand social media, you're not supposed to tell people your exact address unless they're picking you up. But when you declare that you're in a specific city or in a specific region of the city, like if you live in downtown or if you live uptown and they live in a different city, and it turns out that you're a couple of hours driving distance, and that couple of hours driving distance is interstate miles, where you like 80 something to 100 miles an hour for 2 hours, that's a couple 100 miles away. When you think about that, it's like, nah, that's all right. We shouldn't have this first date because distance is going to be a problem. Now, understandably, though, if she was excited about meeting a person in real time from online dating, especially since she doesn't have to pay as much as the man because she's going to commute to the date, but he's going to pay for the date. So if he found a location that was halfway between, so if it's a 2-hour, 2.5-hour drive from my house to your house, and I find a restaurant that's 45 minutes away from both of us, you drove to 45 minutes away, but you still looking at the fact that you had to fill your tank twice to get out here. You're thinking about to yourself, well, shit, if this is halfway between the two of them, I would have had to pay twice as much to go to his house. She doesn't have it in her budget. I respect that. For her to tell you that it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. There's no nice way to deliver rejection. There's no nice way to say that this isn't gonna work out. There's no nice way to give somebody bad news. Bad news is bad news across the board. Now, that doesn't mean that you, sir, should stop dating. What that means is that you should probably make sure that it is confirmed with the other person that this is going to be a long distance relationship when you look at the mileage between y'all. If they're committing to a long distance relationship, then you take them out on the first date. Because even if y'all go Dutch, she probably would have spent $50 to $75 worth of gas to get to you, and then her $25 to $50 worth of food at the date, where she just spent $125. She living from paycheck to paycheck. That was her vacation money. She ain't got enough money to do that 3 times a week. So if she's one of those women that does not feel like she should force a man to pay for everything, she can't afford to pay for herself to entertain the relationship long enough for y'all to move into the same house. It still makes sense for her to tell you, bro, I can't do it. Not that I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I just can't afford it. Now, if you really want to make it work, you're going to offer up more of your resources to cover the distance so that the long distance relationship works. But I never recommend that for any man. You should not expel extra resources for somebody that you are not sure you want to spend the rest of your life with. And while Western culture, it takes like 7 dates for the parties to commit to the idea of longevity. But it takes a year to 2 years before y'all start talking, 6 months to a year before y'all move in together when you're moving fast. 7 dates could be 7 weeks and 7 dates could be 6 months, depending on how often y'all meet up. But 7 weeks is still almost 2.5 months, almost 3 months before y'all decide to be exclusive and consider yourselves dating. And you're going to be another 6 months of dating before y'all decide to move in with one another if y'all get married inside of a year. But do you know that she still got to pay for commuting for the first 6 months before she decided to move into your house or move you into her house so that she ain't got to travel as far to get to you? Now, I believe that women should invest the capital if they think they got a good man. But women haven't been taught that. And since they haven't been taught that, she's going to tell you straight up, I can't afford this shit. But if she was to follow the podcast and learn how to invest and save money, she would have more money to expel so that she would have been able to pay for that extra distance to find true happiness. So, ladies, there's another reason why y'all should join the channel, because you can make money for yourself so that you'll have extra money to be able to afford to cover the spread on that egalitarian dating style. Because if you got more money to go further distances, you can meet the guy halfway and judge him based on his integrity, not his wallet, because you don't need his money because you make your own. Once you stop judging the man based on the size of his wallet, you'll stop finding Chris Brown, OJ Simpson, Ray Rice, Mike Tyson, and mystical Puff Daddy. You stop finding the wrong guys, Bill Cosby and whatnot. You stop finding the wrong guys. You know, you start finding the guys that are worth your while, but you got to come from a different dynamic, because while you are in a desperate situation, and the women that are not, and this is good women making bad choices. Those women are going to be women in a financially desperate situation, and they're going to accept a man that will subsidize their income, not because she's a gold digger, but because she needs the money to survive. Right? Now you're choosing a man because you're financially desperate, but that's not the man for you. If you was financially desperate and you focused on your finances and boosted your money up where you don't need that man's finances, now you're choosing a man based on his character, his principles, his priorities. Where you don't have to tell this man, I don't need you, I can do this all by myself. You're telling this man, I want you to do this. And you want to do this. There's a difference. Because yeah, you could do it all by yourself. But do you want to? All right, let's go ahead and check in with this next one. We got time for a few more.
I've been talking to this guy for a month or so and things seem to be pretty good. I actually really like him, but his sister died and I don't know what to do. I'd assume he'll pull away. His texting has been less consistent. I'm trying to be supportive while not overstepping. But should I just move on? I don't want to be stuck in limbo. While I expected him to pull away and be less consistent with texting, this isn't the issue. I'm trying to figure out how to support him while still protecting my heart.
Just take your ass over to his damn house. What are you talking about? His sister died. Are you sitting over here really prioritizing yourself? You don't really give a shit about this dude, because if you cared about him, you would be at his house consoling him. You would be with him at the funeral. I know some people say, oh, well, there's a time where you're supposed to step back. Fuck that. If this man is the one that you want, you're supposed to be there for him. And even though it's early on in a relationship, a death in the family is when your loved ones are supposed to be there. So if you want to be considered one of his loved ones, you're supposed to be there. If y'all started dating and one of his family members was sick and he had to go to the ICU and go and visit that family member, you know he going through some tough time, take your ass to the goddamn hospital and go sit there with him. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, it's awkward. But how the hell would you feel if y'all would have been in a relationship for 2-3 years and somebody in your family got sick and died? You would want him to come with you to the hospital. You would want him to help you take care of your sick family members. So if you're not willing to show him early on in a relationship that you down for whatever, then how the hell are you going to be able to show your value to this man? You sitting over here talking about protecting your heart. A man is going to be dedicated to a woman that's willing to put it all on the line for him. So you're going to protect your heart by showing this man you're going to put it all on the line for him. I guarantee you right now, off the top of my head, look, Bayside said common courtesy. Correct. Look, right now, Eve, we want women like Eve. Evie, Rough Riders, Bad Girl. We want women like Eve. We want women like Set It Off. We want women, you feel me? We want the women that help us cover up the crime scene and hide the body. We want the women that help us take the bank out. We want the see Queen Latifah married John Q because she was willing to take out a bunch of banks and he was willing to take out a hospital. We want women that'll ride with us. We want women that'll ride for us. We want women that'll hold down the fort till we get out, because we're going to do things for her so that might cost us our freedom sometimes. And at the end of the day, we want those women that are willing to put it all on the line for the sake of us. That's your value right there. Believe it or not. And not a lot of women want to believe that, but that's your value right there, is being able to show up and put it out there. Exactly. Ride or die. Ride or die. Now, ride or die is it. We use that terminology to represent that, but ride or die is a situation from the late 80s, early 90s, where you didn't have a choice. You did not go, you lost your life. So you might as well go, and you didn't want to go, because if you go, you might lose your life. But if you don't go, you're definitely going to lose your life. So the ride or die scenario was, if you don't go, you die. But if you do go, you might live. But under the concept of we want to down for whatever person, a ride or die terminology is like, yeah, you want a rider. You want somebody who's going to go with you. You want somebody that's there for the long haul. So you telling me that you've been with this dude for a few months now. So it ain't a couple days. You've been with this dude for a few months now, and somebody died in the family, bitch. If you ain't in the hospital, if you ain't identifying the body with him, if you ain't with him when he on his knees crying, that's the time that you be seeing a grown man cry like a bitch, is he done lost somebody that mattered to him. You feel me? And he lost his dog, he lost his mama, he lost his sister, he lost his child. Your ass is supposed to be there. You supposed to be the emotional crutch, because that is what women are valuable for, is the emotional support. That don't cost you no money. That just costs you time and patience. Take your ass over there and do your damn job, woman. That's what then you want to ask me, well, how do you protect your heart? Well, if you fuck over this man's emotions, I can guarantee you that once he gets himself together, he is going to have the heart of a rock. And he is not going to have the same consideration for you that he would have had if you would have been his rock, which leaves you in a situation where you might not be respected the way you would have been valued if you would have been there when he needed you. Now, there are two types of women in a man's life. The one woman that a man can count on no matter what, that's the woman he's going to make all the sacrifices for. And the one that's there for a good time, that's when he's going to, when he's not busy dealing with bullshit, he going to contact the woman for the good time. You got to decide which one you want to be. You want to be the one he values above everything else? Or do you want to be the one that's only there for a good time? Now, your heart is only going to be subject to what you put yourself through. So if you put yourself in a position to be mistreated, you're not protecting your heart. But how does his sister dying got to do? He ain't sleeping with his sister. What does your heart got to do with his sister? If y'all was doing good, y'all had a long-term relationship. 4 months is a pretty decent season. Okay. Damn. That's like the first quarter of 2025. And you telling me that his sister just recently died and you being a bitch about it? He should break up with you on principle. Just because you abandoned him when he needed somebody to be an emotional rock for him. Talking about some protecting your heart. What about his heart? He just lost his lifelong sister. Kind of disrespectful bullshit. Look, some of these folks be coming up here. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't read all of these comments. I will edit some of them because the text is so distorted that the audio is not going to be able to play it. But I don't sit here and read a lot of these comments. I'm like, damn, these are some pretty thick, intuitive comments, and we gonna talk about this on the show. When I come across shit like this, I'm like, man, I should have read this. She need to be slapped. But let's go ahead and ride on to the next one. We got a few more minutes.
I blocked him out of fear of what he would say or
hell.
wouldn't say. I've been dating him for a few months. He never plans dates or even shows up on time to the dates that I plan for us. His excuses are valid when he gives them, but he should at least have the courtesy to give me a heads up that things changed and that I shouldn't wait on him. After a few times of that happening, I finally called him out on it. I didn't accuse him or anything. I simply said, these are my needs. He completely brushed them off, got defensive, and kept turning it all back to me. He didn't reach out all weekend. I didn't reach out either because I felt like an apology was due. When he did reach out, he was upset that I didn't contact him, saying he texted last, which was a text invalidating my feelings about needing communication. Things died down and I gave it another chance. We had a call scheduled, and again he is late, claiming he took a nap. I felt like he was intentionally doing this to me somehow. The next morning he was cold again. I couldn't understand, because when we are together, it's like we are best friends, but when we are apart, I don't feel cared for or know where I stand with him. We were exclusive. So I know the title, but didn't feel that way. Eventually I had enough and I sent a last message, but blocked him before he could respond. I now regret it. I feel like that was really mean of me. I didn't even give him a chance to respond. I know all of this seems very bad, but I felt warmth from him sometimes. It must have meant something.
You a bitch. Okay, look, let me go down. Now, I'm usually not cold and heartless like that, but I just got to be cold and heartless on this one. Let me tell y'all something. Look, people are selfish, both men and women alike. Ladies, y'all got to understand, men got shit that they got to deal with. That does not mean that a man should ignore you. That does not mean that a man should prioritize your values. You're supposed to be picking a man that prioritizes your values. So if you didn't, you fucked up. But the fact is that if he got shit going on, y'all get mad because he don't stop his life. He don't pause his world and bow at your feet. And that's not the mentality y'all supposed to have, because y'all don't want to be the kind of woman that will stop your life and bow at a man's feet because he needs some shit. So you got to understand, I'm going to tell you right now, from a man's perspective, I got 12 phone numbers, 5 cell phones. I have all of my ringers on silent. If you don't send me a text message or email, I'm probably not going to know you called. You see that every show, my phone ring during the show and you see that I ignore that shit, right? Nah, whoever the hell is trying to contact me while I'm on this podcast is not going to talk to me till I get off this podcast. And y'all know sometimes I'll be riding 3-4 hours after that call happened. Nah, I got stuff to do. If you're important to me, as soon as I finish doing what I'm trying to do, I'm going to get in touch with you. But I'm not supposed to pause my podcast so that I can come and answer the phone for you. This is supposed to be important to me. So unless you're externally bleeding on the outside of your body, you're not supposed to be interrupting this because you know that I'm doing this if you know me. Which also means if you know me and you know this is where I'm at and you know that you can jump on this and let me know that you got an emergency going on, I should see you in the comment section. So if you call on my phone instead of on my channel, then fuck you. Now, let's talk about these fellas that's got goddamn jobs. They got hard ass jobs. They be working. They can't answer the phone all the time because they got to use their hands and they don't have Bluetooth. They got jobs where the boss don't let them use the Bluetooth and you hitting them up on the phone and they can't respond to you. You feel like, oh, they don't care about you. A man got to work 12 hours a day to bring home the bacon because men have to use their bodies where they don't have the capabilities to use their mind to make money, to provide the standard of living that will make them qualified to date you. You just have to look cute. You put 4 to 6 hours into looking cute and you got the man. The man got to put 10, 12, 15 hours a day to be financially stable to get the woman that looks cute. Now, you got more free time on your hands to be available for him than what he has to be available for you. You feel unvalidated because he did not take days off to kiss your ass. That make no damn sense. Because if he take all these days off to kiss your ass, then he's a broke ass dude and you don't want to date him because he don't make enough money to satisfy your expectations for a financially stable man. That makes no sense. You got a hardworking, driven man. He was asleep. That's okay. He contacted you when he woke up. He might have set a time for y'all to talk. And the alarm, he slept through the alarm clock because he's tired. That's fine. When he call you, he call you. You sitting over here pissed off because you did not get what you wanted out of the relationship. And then after that, you turned around and shut him down, but you wanted him to beg you for an apology. Then when he didn't apologize to you, because he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't apologize to you, you felt less validated because he didn't apologize to you. That's your fault. Why are you causing conflict in a relationship instead of trying to solve the problem? The problem is that he isn't available. So you go over there to him. If you at his house when he get off from work, now he can spend time with you. What? Like, I can tell y'all back when I was a youngin', I used to have this chick and the only thing separated us was Hurricane Katrina. Because if it wasn't for that, we would still be together. I had this female. So there you go. Natural disaster caused separation. And that's the only thing that would have caused that separation. Because had it not been for that natural disaster, we would have never separated. But the thing about it is that I had a homie. She would drive my car. Women don't drive my car. She would take my car to the shop and fix my car. She would fix my car herself. She would pick me up from work. She didn't have a car. She would get dropped off at my house when I had my car. I would get off from work not expecting her, and she would be at my house. I worked all the time. So when I wasn't at work, I was asleep. When I was asleep, I was asleep with her. Because when I went straight home from work and I went to bed, she was at my house to go to bed. When I woke up in the morning, she was there. You understand? And when I had extra time off to drive to her house, because I would drive to her house too. I would drive, tired as fuck, been at work since before the sunrise, just got off from work after the clubs closed. And now I'm driving to the other side of the state to go and spend time at her house because the last time she got a ride to my side of the state to come and be at my house. You showing me how important I am to you by making yourself available to me, even though I have a busy schedule. I'm going to show you how important you are to me by making myself available to you, even though I have a busy schedule. She was a keeper. Only thing separated us was natural disaster. And the fact is that I have not found a woman that will behave like that since then. I have not found a woman that will be where I am so that when I'm available, she gets my undivided attention. I have not found a woman that will put in effort to aid me in the things I need done. If my car needed, like I said, I had my CV axle break, her and her dad fixed my car. Not because I asked them to, but because she had possession of my car at the time. And she fixed it with her money, not my money. You feel me? Did oil changes and stuff. She was at my house doing my laundry and everything. When I was sick, she would bring me food and stuff like that. This is the stuff that women are valuable for. It ain't about looking pretty. It ain't about looking pretty. And the fact is that if the women value the man that they got, then girl, you ain't sitting over here on your side of town wondering what you should do about your man on the other side of the town struggling with life. You will be over there in his life struggling with him, because if you help him through the struggle, all y'all got is the promised lands after that. You cannot tell me that you're going to let this man go through the 12 trials of Hercules by himself so that you can celebrate his success after the fact. You were supposed to go through them 12 trials of Hercules with him, so that when y'all succeed together, y'all can celebrate together. You earned everything he got because you helped him get it. If you wait for him to get it all, you ain't earned shit. So why are you sitting there with your hand out? Bayside said, definition of someone who actually appreciates you for you. She saw potential. And that's the thing. Very few women in this generation are looking for potential. We have a lot of women right now that are focusing more on the final product. Less women focused on potential. And because we're focused on the final product, you are going to get what you sign up for, because you didn't earn that. So you're not getting a man with good character. You're not getting a man with a good personality. You're not getting a man that values you for what you can do for him and value you for the kind of person that you strive to be. You are getting a man that can afford the lifestyle that you want. And that man might not always be a good man. Likewise, fellas are finding women because of the kind of money that he has. He's not finding a woman that wants him for who he is. He's not finding a woman that wants to be there because of how he treats her. They're finding women that are enjoying the money he's spending, the cars that he's letting her drive, the stuff that he's getting for her as gifts, the house that he's letting her take pictures in and live in and stuff for free. But she don't really want him. She wanted stuff. And I could tell y'all, the girl that was riding with me, I had a 1988 Toyota Corolla hatchback. That ain't even a sexy car. It was a standard shift car. It was a 2-door hatchback, front wheel drive, red, little bitty ass clown car. But she rocked the fuck out of that car. Rebuilt the engine, rebuilt the transmission, rebuilt the suspension. The car did not have a stereo system in it. She put a stereo system in it for Thanksgiving because the car was too quiet for them long drives. So instead of her bitching about the fact that, oh, I wish this car had music in it, she said, shit, I got this Pioneer we're gonna drop in here. We threw 6 JBLs in there. We had 6x9s, we had 12s, we had I had bass speakers in that bitch. By the time she finished, my little hatchback was sitting in a Taco Bell parking lot having a Pimp My Ride competition with a goddamn Bronco that had 48 subwoofers in it, and we was winning. She paid for that. I didn't pay for that. I was taking care of bills and shit. But you know what value looks like once you've experienced it. And when you know what value looks like, that's when y'all come to the show and y'all hear when I tell y'all there are some women out here that's not valuable. Because when I tell y'all that I've experienced value, and then we listen to the shit that we're going through on a day-to-day basis, and I tell y'all that these women are not valuable. Not all women, just the ones that we're sitting over here talking about don't got the right, they don't have the right mindset. I could tell y'all, like, these women are not the value that we look for. But the kind of woman that I'm telling y'all that I've experienced already in my life, this is the kind of women that men look for. So when women want to be boss bitches and they want to be top dogs and they want to find a man that meets their objectives, girl, you got to figure out what kind of woman these men are looking for, because all men know what women want. Each woman has a different criteria, but the foundation is still the same. They want a man that makes 100,000 or more a year. They want a man that is generous with his money. They want a man that'll give them trips around the world. They want vacations. They want a man that'll pay for their upkeep. They want gifts. This is commonality. Any woman that wants less than that and gets that is satisfied. Any woman that wants more than that is going to leave you because that's the best that you could do. But the average women out of 165 million women, most of them say, yep, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now, all of y'all, I can ask y'all, what the hell does a man want from you besides sex? Because he don't want your education and he don't care about your career. And when I ask you that, the only thing that women have come through with is emotional support. Now, when I did, and that's 2 years we've been talking about this on the podcast, and women say emotional support. I'll cook. That's it. That's it. Our emotional support, I'll cook, and some might offer to clean. But those are the exact same things that those exact same women say, oh, you're misogynistic because you want me barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen doing your laundry and ironing your drawers. But you got to understand, that's all you think that a man wants you to do, because that's the easiest shit for you to do. But I'm sitting over here telling you that this girl rebuilt my car from the ground up. This girl was making sure I got to work. When I was too tired to drive myself to work, she drove me to work. When I was sick, she was taking care of me. When she wanted my attention, she came to me because I did not have enough time to go to her. These are things that a man won't. If I ain't got time to reach out to you, bitch, reach out to me. You feel me? Instead of coming on my job, trying to make sure I'm not cheating on you, come on my job and make sure that I'm okay. Bring me something to eat so I'm not starving if I'm at work 10 hours a day and I can't eat on the job. You know, swing by and make sure that I'm okay. Bring me something to drink. You know, if I'm working in a restaurant, I'm in a hot room all day long. You ain't got to come over there and bring me no food. You come over there and bring me some fucking Gatorade. I just want to make sure that you good, babe. Give me some Gatorade with electrolytes in it so that I can finish my shift without passing out on the job. Like keep your man strong. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But not one woman watching the show right now today can come and talk about the things that they would do for a man that they know a man wants or needs besides cooking and cleaning and sleeping with the man. Y'all don't know what men want, but y'all definitely know what y'all want from the man. And that's a one-sided mentality. So men are preparing themselves to be partners 75% of their life, to be the finished product for a woman to accept him. But no woman is willing to be the finished product for the man, because technically the finished product for a man is to never get started. Nobody counts. So that means the less people you sleep with, the better you are. Partner material, cooperation, respect, validation, admiration, appreciation, reciprocation, all these Asians that y'all don't do. Everything that women say everything that a middle-aged single woman says is misogynistic for a man to expect. That's all the shit that y'all should do. Treat it like the forbidden moves in a UFC fight. All the banned moves in a UFC fight are the best moves to learn how to fight for self-defense, because those are the moves that are the most effective. All of the stuff that a feminist woman says is misogynistic that men should not expect from women are all the things that a woman should do to satisfy a man, because if you did that, the man would not have nothing else to complain about. He wouldn't have nothing else to look for, because you're doing it all. And you know what a man's going to do for a woman that's doing it all? Give her everything he got. So I could tell you, I drove 85 miles to fall asleep in her lap on the other side of town after I done worked 12 hours, because she would commute 85 miles to be at my house before I got off from work. I didn't even know she was there. She was there. So knowing that she gonna be at my house, sitting on my step, waiting on me to come home from work, what did that do for her? She had a key to my car. She had a key to my house. She had a key to my post office box. She would go get my mail and bring it to my house, and she would sit it on the table and go in the room and go take a nap till I came home from work, because she earned that shit. Now, how many of y'all women can tell me right now today that y'all done something to earn the house key that y'all got from the man besides good sex? Most of y'all can't say that. Y'all can't say that y'all did shit to earn the damn key to the house. Y'all not willing to go there and clean up the house while he at work. Y'all not willing to cook him dinner before he get home from work. Y'all not willing to wash his dishes and clean his house up and nothing like that. Y'all want the keys to his car, but y'all not trying to service it, put brand new tires on it. Y'all not trying to change his oil and shit, but y'all want him to buy you a brand new car because you got a flat. Fuck out of here. You got to earn that shit. Y'all got to do stuff to deserve what y'all want to get from the men that y'all looking at. But as long as you're looking for men that'll give you stuff with no requirement for reciprocation, you're going to find men that will use you for what you're willing to do for him. He will give you what he think you should have for what you're willing to do based on his income. And then when he tired of your ass, he will drop you for a woman that will give him what he needs. And that's why y'all have them long relationships, a year and a half long. And then he break up with you and get with the woman that will give him what he needs. And a lot of times that woman is less attractive than you are. Not because he ain't shit. It's because you didn't meet his expectations. And he found better quality, less attractive, but better quality. If I can find a car that performs better than the other car, even if that car doesn't look attractive, if I can get more out of that, I'm gonna take the one that's less attractive. Because guess what else I get the benefit from? This less attractive one, ain't nobody trying to steal the less attractive one. Women want a man that all other women want. A man want a woman to himself. He could give two shits if other men want her. He want her. So he don't want her to project herself desirable to other men once he gets her. So men typically want a woman that don't know what a man wants. He just wants to be attracted to her. But y'all make yourselves look extra attractive when you're in a relationship, baiting other men, which forces your man to defend his position as your man to all of the other men that you drawing in. Sweetheart, when you go fishing, you throw that pole in the water, you can only pull one fish out the water at a time. You ain't supposed to be trying to rebait the hook while you got a fish on the hook. What kind of bullshit is that? Look, here we go with another one. How are you gonna rebait the hook with a fish already on the line? You either gonna throw this fish back or you're gonna keep it. If you keep this fish, that's it. It's one per person. You're not supposed to throw the hook back out there and try to see if you can catch another fish. That's not what this is about. This ain't sport fishing. You ain't sport fucking. You're looking for a lifelong companion. So if you're looking for a lifelong companion, you're supposed to tighten up and be that lifelong companion. Let's go ahead and touch down on a few more because we got like 15 minutes.
I've noticed a trend among a lot of men in my circle. Guys who are fit, financially stable, well-dressed, educated, and generally have their lives together, ending up in relationships with women who, frankly, don't seem to match them in ambition, health, looks, or lifestyle. It's not about being judgmental. It's just an observation. These men seem to be settling, or more accurately, being forced to date down in the current dating market. And it's not like they don't have standards, but online dating especially seems to put men in a position where their choices are either be alone or compromise heavily.
Yeah. Your willpower to maintain your standards is going to diminish the longer you're online dating, because the more ghosting that you experience, the less you believe that you're going to find somebody, which means that you're going to spend more effort into trying to get somebody, including reducing your expectations to be chosen by somebody. If you're accepted by somebody, beggars can't be choosers. So since you're begging to be accepted so that you're not alone, you're willing to lower your standards beneath your non-negotiable expectations for behavior, which means you're going to end up in a relationship that you're not satisfied with, and you're going to find content with that relationship because that's the best that you could do. That's not the best that you could do. You could have rolled the dice and risked being alone so that you could find somebody of value to you so that you could be truly happy. I recommend women to do the same thing, that you would prolong sexual engagements, preserve your purity until you find that person that is willing to try to be that rest of your life scenario. Y'all should have one sexual partner per potential engagement. If you're going to have sex before marriage, you should be sleeping with a guy that you're willing to marry. You should not be sleeping with every guy that buys you a dinner. You should not be sleeping with every guy that buys you expensive jewelry. You should not be sleeping with every guy that buys you a plane ticket. You should only be sleeping with the guy that you're willing to marry. That if you're not willing to marry this guy, he ain't boyfriend material, but he fuckable. That is not your mentality. Yeah, that might be your train of thought, but you should be like, I'm not sleeping with him because he's not boyfriend material. He's not husband material. You understand? And fellas, even though it goes against the primal urges of men. We should not be trying to sleep with women that are not girlfriend material, that are not wife material. Because while you are in an emotional entanglement with this female, all of the other females are off the table for you until you detach yourself from this woman where y'all friends with benefits, y'all fuck buddies, y'all are in an untitled relationship and no other woman is going to want you while you are smashing this other woman because no woman wants to share you in Western culture with another woman. So you have to be exclusively alone for a woman to see you and select you. Because here again, fellas, ain't nobody going to pick the car that's being test driven. They're going to pick the car on the showroom floor. They're going to pick the car on a lot. They're going to pick the car on a back lot. But the car that's being test driven is off the table. Ain't nobody going to say, oh, I like the way that one drives. I want that one. You ain't even in it. Somebody else is in it. So fellas, y'all can't be that guy that's already involved with somebody else looking for the right one, not with the one that you're involved with. You're not going to be successful with that. So both sides of the fence, ladies, y'all got to stop sleeping around so that y'all can preserve yourselves for the guy that will give you the attention that you deserve. And fellas, y'all got to stop throwing your money around and sleeping around so that y'all can have the emotional availability for the woman that is right for you. So if you're not begging, you can be choosy. But men are going to be forced to date down. And not only are men going to be forced to date down, men are going to be forced to accept damaged goods because the middle-aged women want middle-aged men that are financially successful. Middle-aged women will belittle middle-aged men for dating women that are in their 20s because the middle-aged women do not want to be overlooked because the women under 30 are more valuable because the women under 30 are more capable of bearing children and willing to be more cooperative. Middle-aged women changing their behavior, the middle-aged women will shame men in going after women that are not the middle-aged women because the middle-aged women do not want to be excluded from the dating pool. But if you change the fucking attitude and put a few of your eggs on the shelf so that they can be utilized after you no longer can produce eggs, then you would still be valuable. You could be 45 years old, take you 5 or 6 eggs out of the freezer and get you a surrogate and still get this man a child and still be a mother to his children at 45 years old. If you're willing to cooperate with his objectives and aid him in being successful, from 45 to 55, y'all still be a millionaire inside of 10 years, and he can still have 1 or 2 children for you. But you have to make that decision in your younger years. You got to say, while you fertile, let me take 10, 15, 20 of these bad boys, put them on a shelf. Let me make enough money to pay these people to freeze my eggs until I'm ready to have children. You don't got to be ready to give birth at 20. But you could preserve enough of your eggs so that even after you get a hysterectomy, that you can still have children with your DNA in it. But otherwise, you can't say, oh, at 40 years old, 45 years old, I'm still valuable because I got a job. Bitch, you don't need no damn job. What you need is to be a mother and a partner, and you're not capable of being a mother and you're not willing to be a partner. So what the fuck are you doing here? That's the reason why the men are going after the younger women. Now you got women that are 35, 45 years old, 55 years old, wondering why are they being passed over on a dating site? Because a man looks at your age and says, menopause at 40, you're 38. I'm not going to force you to have my child, but it's going to take us 2 to 3 years for you to feel comfortable to have my child. So you're not young enough to still be able to produce me a kid if I got into a relationship with you for 5 years. So that disqualifies you out the gate. Not because you got a bad personality, not because you negative in any kind of way, but because what I want from you, you can't give me. And what I'm looking for is reasonable. It's just not inside of your skill set. So that disqualifies you. Bayside said, today I saw a bunch of single moms celebrating Mother's Day at Chili's. As Kevin Samuels used to say, winter is coming. Go find a cat or a dog. Women walk by potential husbands every day, but their expectations are unreasonable. 3 excellent comments. I definitely agree with that. All 3 of those comments, I definitely agree with that. And if women had that mentality, they would be able to say, okay, we're going to make it do what it do. But they are not willing to make it do what it do until it's too late. Let's check on
My
this next
husband and I have been together for 5 years. I want to start by saying that, despite his quirks, my husband is genuinely sweet and hardworking. I truly believe he loves me deeply, tries his best, and has always dreamed of being a husband and father. That's why this whole situation has left me confused and conflicted. We got pregnant a bit sooner than expected, though it wasn't entirely unplanned. In the first trimester, I was lucky to avoid nausea, but the fatigue hit me hard, especially during my final university exams. I had to nap for 1 to 2 hours every afternoon just to function. At the time, we didn't know that this kind of exhaustion was a normal pregnancy symptom, and I was so focused on school that I didn't think much of it. Meanwhile, my husband quietly started resenting me.
Yep.
He thought I was being lazy because I wasn't keeping up with the housework, which, except for dishes, was mostly my responsibility.
Okay.
Thankfully, a friend asked if I'd been hit by the tiredness and explained that it's important I rest.
Bitch.
He seemed to understand, but I guess it bugs me that faced with his wife being utterly exhausted, his first reaction was to think of me as lazy and be annoyed rather than concerned. Throughout the rest of my pregnancy, his attitude often felt off. He would get annoyed by what I thought were small requests, like bringing me water before bed, and complained about the size of my pregnancy pillow. While he always apologized later on if I let myself get sad about it, I felt like there was something he wasn't saying. Friends told me to enjoy the pregnancy pampering, but I didn't experience any of that. He treated me the same as before and seemed irritated when I couldn't keep up. Despite everything, I had a fairly easy pregnancy physically, and emotionally I responded very well to the crazy levels of estrogen, making me quite happy and hopeful. I stayed upbeat and tried to be as pleasant and positive as possible. During this time, he started getting really into these men's experiences during pregnancy podcasts and would vent about how no one considers what fathers go through, which I sympathized with.
But they don't.
Then came the birth. After a long and sleepless labor, I needed an emergency C-section.
Okay.
I gave birth around midnight, and since partners couldn't stay overnight, he went home. I stayed awake with our newborn for a 4th night in a row. When he returned the next morning, he told me he had fainted on the way home, showing me how dirty his jacket was after falling. I was concerned, but I was so depleted I could barely process it. During our hospital stay, he brought food and held the baby while I slept, but his attitude still felt annoyed. I chalked it up to stress. Then came the newborn phase. Our son was colicky, I was exhausted, and we argued constantly. I couldn't be my usual sweet self, and I desperately needed emotional support. He, on the other hand, seemed to want sympathy too. At one point, it had been 5 days since the baby had a bath, and he inquired of me annoyed.
Damn.
I didn't turn on my filter and said, "Why don't you give him a bath then?" He responded with that he didn't know how and was upset I told him to Google it. He felt overwhelmed working 3 to 4 hours a day and microwaving meals twice daily, so researching baby baths was apparently too much.
Yep.
I ended up taking our baby to all his appointments alone because my husband looked so irritated when tired that nurses started asking questions. I could say a lot more, but here's my main concern. Recently, we revisited the topic of my pregnancy and our son's birth. I told him I felt unsupported during that time. That's when he confessed that he lied about fainting after the birth so I would feel bad for him. He apparently only slipped on the ice. He felt ignored and unimportant during the pregnancy.
Still feel.
Every time he talked to friends, they told him to focus on supporting me, and he started to feel invisible. While I understand the desire to feel seen, to lie about something like this when I truly needed support feels deeply hurtful. I explained that being a supportive partner is not meaningless. It's actually a vital, powerful role. He was remorseful, but I don't know if this is expecting too much from him. Things are better between us today, but honestly, I don't think I want him with me the next time I give birth. I feel like it would be easier to mentally prepare for doing it alone than to split my emotional focus between giving birth, the baby, and managing his feelings again. I feel unsupported, but I am scared I am putting too much pressure on him. How do we move forward from this?
You damn right you being unsupportive, you ungrateful. All right, hold on. Let me start off by saying, because you had so much nice things to say about him, that lets me know that you an asshole with everything you're about to say after you complimented him. So here's the first problem. Now, I understand that women have issues during their pregnancy that no man understands, but I also understand that women forget the fact that the same way you need emotional support and coddling during a pregnancy, so does he. You have to understand that while you're dealing with the stresses of being pregnant, he has to deal with the stresses of taking care of you and fulfilling all of the duties you can't do and maintaining the full-time job that he was maintaining when you was doing the other stuff. The same way you're sitting over here saying, oh, well, the next time I get pregnant, which at least you're willing to get pregnant again, you're saying this time I'm going to mentally prepare to do this alone. Think about the fact that you're not showing, you're not expressing any type of issue with the pregnancy. There's no concerns from the doctor from the pregnancy. So when you start dealing with excessive fatigue, he don't know what the hell's going on. You just laying around the house, babe, bring me this and bring me that. And what? Bitch, I'm at work all damn day. Why can't you get up, go get it yourself? He's not going to be considerate to what you got going on, not because he does not value you, but because he does not understand that you're extra tired. But you forgot that he is extra tired, because while he's bringing you extra drinks and cooking for you and taking you places and this, that, and the third because you're pregnant, guess what you're not doing for him? Everything that you was doing for him. So, because you're carrying the baby, your responsibility to support your boyfriend or your husband goes right out the window because you're pregnant. That is wrong. The best that you can do is the best that you should do, even when you're pregnant. And since he has to step up and do more of what you can't do, you're supposed to find a way to reciprocate your value and appreciation of him doing more during a time when you're doing less. It is not his responsibility to assume that you can not do it, but it is your responsibility to appreciate, validate, and reciprocate when you can do it. Now, he fell and bust his ass on the ice. He made it seem like he fainted. Yeah, you're going to feel like, oh, that's bad thing for him to lie about how he fainted. Sweetheart, his ass hit the ground. That coat got dirty because his back was on the ground. He could have broke his back that day and been paralyzed, and then you would have had 2 grown-ass children to take care of. Now, the fact that he fell on the ice, he might have not have really fainted, but he damn sure fell. You should have been concerned that he was okay, not just because it's you and the baby, but because if your provider is no longer capable of providing, you got problems. But you so inconsiderate, you only caring about yourself. Yes, this is a huge issue and it needs to be addressed. Once y'all start getting y'all mentality together to think about the other person in a relationship, it's going to be less about just you. It's going to be less about you and a baby, and it's going to be more about your husband, because your husband's job is to prioritize you, and it is your job to prioritize your husband, and it is mom and dad's job to prioritize the child. So both of y'all come after the child. He come before you and you come before him, and as long as you put him before you and he put you before him and y'all put the child before yourselves, then all of y'all will be happy. But as long as you're thinking about number one and you're sitting over here pissed off because you feel unseen, you're not recognizing him. He's telling you he's feeling unseen. You're not trying to recognize him because you feel unseen. He's trying to recognize you, but he still feels unseen. You need to do more. You need to do more. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he was a bad man for what he did. You are insecure and you are inconsiderate. And you are selfish. He is inconsiderate. Men are inconsiderate, but women are selfish. And while he was inconsiderate, he still tried to validate you, but you didn't try to validate him. You pissed off because he didn't validate you enough. That's wrong. Now, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I got to cut this conversation short because I got an engagement that started 60 seconds ago. So make sure that y'all stay tuned for tomorrow's show, because we're going to be talking about money. We're going to be talking about ways to make money for us. We're going to be talking about investments on Tuesday. We're going to be talking about different countries to invest in and live in, different places to put our visas, different places to put our bank accounts. And we're going to learn how to make money for ourselves. So ladies, y'all can learn how to make money the same way, fellas. I'm going to teach y'all how to make money, save money, and invest money. And then Thursday through Sunday, we're going to be talking about other social improvements, relationship improvements, and better choice making, first person accountability. So special shout out to Bayside, special shout out to Usman, Mr. Satellite. I really appreciate you guys for coming to the show. Any comments that come through, I'll try to throw them up onto the show as we walk out of here today. Thank you guys for coming to the show. Ladies, I'm going to say, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And we're about 75% of the podcast is a male-driven podcast from a male's perspective. But ladies, y'all can learn something about men and y'all can learn something about finance. So I encourage y'all to add yourselves on, share this to your girls, whether they agree with it or not. Y'all can jump on and argue against me, or y'all can jump on and learn something. Either way it goes, you're always welcome. Thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.